As we discussed in our previous video, there's a lot of hype about opening the third eye chakra. Especially in the West, it has been widely popularized. After social media rose and YouTube and Google rose, people who were inquisitive and curious about the practices of the Eastern spirituality came to contact with the fact that the third eye can be opened, right? But that's where we make flaws when we do our research. See, as I said in my previous video, trying to just focus on the third eye is like going to the gym and just working on your biceps or just working on your chest, which might grow, but it will leave you deformed in the long run. You have to try and make sure that you are building and you're growing your overall spiritual aspect and not just the third eye chakra. Yes, you might receive a couple of siddhis, which means miraculous power by opening the third eye, but that's not really what you want in the long run. You don't really go after power when you are a spiritual being. You go after balance and for love and for kindness. So in this video, we shall be talking about some of the disadvantages or even horrors of opening the third eye chakra coming up in this video. So everybody's always hyped up about the third eye chakra. We are always eager to open the third eye chakra, but I don't hear people eager to open their sacral chakra or their heart chakra or the throat chakra. In my view, the heart chakra is even more important. The heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra, they're more important than the third eye chakra, but everybody's always bound on opening the third eye. Why? Because once you open your third eye, you start your connection with the spiritual realm. True. You might tap into spiritual powers. True. Right? But again, as I said, you don't want to force yourself into just one direction when there are so many aspects of that flower. You just don't want to force yourself into the stem of the flower. You don't force yourself into the stem of the flower once you realize that the flower is an organic being, is an organic whole. It has leaves, it has roots, it has flowers, it has buds, it might even have fruits. When you understand that, you don't just go for the stems. That's the same with the third eye chakra. You need to understand that. So let's move on to what you might have to face if you spend most of your times or more of your time trying to open the third eye chakra. The first thing is it might hamper your relationships. What it does is it heightens your sensation of reality. You are able to see things in a more, how do I say, real way. The other chakras, the heart chakra is a chakra of compassion, and it has a tendency to accept and understand things as they are. But this is the brutal chakra. This brutal chakra just forces its way past rights and wrongs, and it just makes you see the truth. And when you see the truth, you might not actually like it. For example, you might be having a very loving relationship with someone, but when you force your chakra to open, it'll make you see that the relationship might also have flaws and it might also be hurting you in some ways, not just helping you. Right, I understand. As a human being, you would say, if it's hurting me, I wouldn't want to be a part of it. But also as a human being, you have to understand that being hurt is in the process. You need to have a bigger horizon to understand this. But yes, that's one of the problems that you might face. You might see relationships for what they really are, and you might start being discontent with your relationships. Eventually, you yourself trying subconsciously, unconsciously, or consciously to end the relationship. eventually you become more of a loner. And being alone is okay, but if you build a tendency of becoming a loner, antisocial, that's not okay, right? Similarly, while this chakra also brings you more to reality, it might also take you away from your ground reality. Let me explain what that means. The third eye chakra heightens your senses, makes you see through things brutally, right? It doesn't care if anything is right or wrong. It just pervades everything and tries to see the truth. And while making that attempt, the next chakra in line is the crown chakra, which is being in contact with the truth of higher dimensions, right? The third eye chakra, although it acts in this plane, it always tries to take you upward. It always tries to take you upwards towards your crown chakra, where you can experience higher realms, higher dimensions, higher reality. So slowly, if you successfully make contact with higher realms and higher reality, this realm that you're living in right now, which is also very much true, becomes meaningless for you. You start having higher perceptions power. You start having higher perceptions power, yes, but until you leave this body, you are supposed to live in this earth, in this reality. And while you might make contact with the higher dimensions, you might not have the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, the acceptance to balance both these realities. And you have a greater tendency, a greater affinity of moving on to the next plane, right? It might bring about depression. It might bring about anxiety or sadness or even depression in the long run. The third thing is very physical. I'm sure many of you have experienced this. Those of you who have tried to open your third eye chakra, you start feeling that your head is heavier, right? Your eyes get droopier. You start having different kind of head problems, like migraines, nasal blocks, sinuses, right? All of these appear in the physical plane, but this is a result of you not being able to garden or take care or nurture your opened third eye chakra. Opening the third eye chakra is one thing. Maintaining it is a whole new story, right? It's almost like planting a seed and making sure that you water the seed and you mold the seed. You make sure that it grows into a beautiful flower, right? Tibetan monks used to hammer their head in order to open their third eye chakra. Yes, that might also make you successful in opening the chakra, but now you have to nurture it. You have to water it. If you don't water it, you yourself will emerge as a very rough and dry personality for the people around you, again hampering your social relationships. Another thing is we dream, right? Sometimes we remember the dreams, sometimes we forget the dreams. Sometimes they're clear, sometimes we don't remember them at all, although most of the time we are dreaming. When your third eye is open, what happens is your dreams become more vivid, right? And hence, because they are more vivid, they tend to be more bizarre. And what people tend to do is they try to interpret that, and they usually interpret it in a wrong way, and their life goes in a direction where it's not supposed to go. Also, when your third eye is heightened, when your third eye is, say, opened, you might have a difficult time sleeping properly. You might face insomnia, that's what I mean. What happens is your brain is more active in one sense. You are rendering the world more. You are engaging with the world more on a subconscious level. It's almost like you're operating in your subconscious level. When a normal person sleeps, he or she is unaware of the subconscious part of the brain. His or her conscious part of the brain stops functioning, and there's a gap in between where you fall asleep. But when your third eye is open, what happens is this stops functioning in your sleep, but you jump over to this part of your brain and it's constantly working, right? The subconscious part. And hence you might have a very thin sleep, as to say. You might wake up continuously at night, or you might even find it difficult to sleep properly at night. So I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but in this midst of all this hype of opening the third eye chakra, I would suggest that you never force yourself to open the third eye chakra, and rather be more accepting of whatever comes to you. Instead of opening the third eye chakra, I would say you open the third ears, by which I mean that you become more receptive to the world around you. It makes your transition to the higher planes more easier. This is more of an aggressive thing, a forceful thing, whereas if you listen intently, if you become a receiver, this is more of a passive thing, and this will help you glide into the higher dimensions and tap into their power. So if you liked this video, press the like button and share this with your spiritual friends. If you like whatever is happening in Sound Health Solution, do not forget to subscribe to us. Let's create a community of new age, enlightened, fresh, open-minded, overall open, and not just the third eye human beings. Until next time.